Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
That's right. And we tell true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Heck yeah, we do. Britt, what are we talking about this week?
Well, as I have mentioned, I believe it was recently, we are in the top 100 charts in the Philippines. And so we decided, you know what? I don't think we've told very many Filipino stories. So we're going to throw that on the table and have fun with it.
Yeah, sometimes we just like to give ourselves a little challenge, something to organize the chaos. Sure, let's tell ghost stories or stories from the Philippines. That sounds fun.
Why not?
Okay, but before we get into this, you have been working very hard on uploading stuff to our new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right? And I actually didn't even watch this video, but I saw a comment roll in, and I'm not sure if you're aware that we got this, but there is a YouTube video that Britt posted. It's SkeleTales After Party, The Curse of the Crying Boy Painting. Okay.
I've not seen this comment.
So that story, was that a separate story that we told? I don't even remember who we were talking to.
It was just like a little added bonus story because we didn't have time to fit it in the episode. So I was like, but I did the research. Let's tell it. And so I just uploaded it to YouTube.
So there are unheard, untold stories that have not been on the podcast that are living on the YouTube.
On YouTube. So go subscribe over there if you haven't already.
Okay, well, a comment just rolled in from a fella named Simon Barker, and he says, "Good day. From time to time, I search stories about the crying boy, and yours was only 4 weeks old when I watched it. This story is about my grandparents, and I live in the same house now." I found it quite amusing when I bought the house in 2013. I had a letter addressed to my grandfather asking about the crying boy, but since my grandfather passed years before, I mentioned it to my mother, his daughter, and she told me the story.
Oh my God.
So if you want to know what this is referring to, the cursed crying boy painting, y'all should go listen to it on the YouTube channel.
That is amazing. Very, very awesome. I love this world. I love the world.
I want to know if anything happens in the house afterwards.
I know. I'm curious.
Okay, but back on task. Britt, do you want to tell us our first story of the day?
I do.
Okay.
This one is news to me. I came across it looking for haunted things in the Philippines or strange paranormal things. And I came across a Filipino folklore about the Aswang. Have you heard of this before? It's spelled Aswang, but it's pronounced Aswang.
I did in my research for this project come across
but you hadn't heard of it before, right?
And that name. I'd not heard of it before. I don't know anything about it. I didn't look into it. That was not the one that caught my eye. I think of some of the cryptids.
Ooh,
the
okay.
Filipino cryptids. So
this
I want to hear about
one
it.
has it all. So I should preface, I got a lot of this information from a website called allthatisinteresting.com. According to centuries-old Filipino folklore, the Aswang combines the most terrifying traits of vampires, werebeasts, and witches into a single monster that inspires unparalleled fear to this day. The trickiest thing about the Aswang is that it allegedly disguises itself as a human during the day. It goes about among humans and picks out its victims to hunt at night. Considered to be part vampire, part witch, and part werebeast, the idea that the Aswang could be walking among you without knowing it is one of the most scary things about it. That and it eats flesh, primarily children and unborn fetuses.
No.
Their favorite organs to eat are the liver and heart. The Aswang allegedly has a proboscis-like tongue it uses to suck out blood or unborn babies from their mother's wombs. It reportedly stalks the small towns of the Philippines during the night, looking for its next meal. The Aswang likes to confuse its prey with a tricky sound similar to a repeated tick. As it gets closer, it gets quieter to fool you into thinking that the creature is getting further away. Sound familiar? When the sound is further away?
Is it a banshee?
Yeah.
Yes, but
and then also the other one from Colombia El Cibon. How when it sounds far away, that's when you should be the most scared. So it fools you into thinking that the creature's getting further away, thus luring you into a false sense of relief. Although allegedly you may not know when you're near an Aswang during the day, as it's also in its weakest state at that time. This weakness means that they are unlikely to harm people during the day. They're usually women and sometimes even described as beautiful with long black hair. Alissa. Just kidding.
It's not me. I swear.
It's not, because guess what? There are some telling physical signs. Look for bloodshot eyes and their feet flipped backward.
Oh.
They also hate noise and bright lights. If you
I do hate those things.
Uh-oh. If you manage to get a look at their eyes, your reflection will be upside down. All right, let me look at my reflection real quick here. Nope, we're all good. Okay. Right side up.
I was going to say, I do have a wonky toe, but not my feet seem to be pointed the right direction. Except for that one toe.
Facing backwards? Is it on your heel?
I think that's where the toe's headed. It's trying real hard to do a U-turn.
So there are allegedly 3 varieties of Aswang. The tick-tick, or the walk-walk, is named for the sound it makes while hunting and turns into a large bird. The sigbin allegedly turns into something similar to a Tasmanian devil. And the 3rd variety is the, Manananggal, which looks like a woman who can split itself in half and fly like a bat. So I've never heard of this cryptid before, but it's so versatile.
I did not realize that I heard about the Manananggal. I'm not reading it, so I don't know how to pronounce it. It has a lot of A's.
I think you pronounced it better than I did.
Okay. And I didn't realize it was a form. So you're saying it's a form of that Aswang?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the night is their strongest time. When Aswangs gain their superhuman strength, the night is reportedly also the time of day when they can shapeshift and change the appearance of other objects to trick humans. And stories dating back to the 13th century have been around since the Aswang. So this isn't an early occurrence. Like, they've been telling these stories for a very long time. So I was curious if I could find any first-person stories of somebody who's actually come across one of these like vampiric werebeasts. And sure enough, there were actually quite a few out there. But this one I felt was particularly juicy. So this is from Jace. And they say, my mom was heavily pregnant with me when she was staying in a hotel in I got this. Legazpi City with my dad and several of her best friends. They occupied a large room with multiple beds. Late in the night, they were awoken by a loud thud on the rooftop and followed by the grunts and oinks pigs make. My tita said to my mom that it could be the Aswangs looking for babies to prey on. So they huddled together with my mom at the center. My dad went to the altar and armed himself with the dried palaspas. After a long time, they heard whatever that thing on the rooftop leave, but they didn't immediately go to sleep, but kept 2 people on guard while the others slept. The next morning, when the hotel guests went down for breakfast, they found out that almost every woman in the hotel that night was pregnant, Pretty unbelievable, right? They all had the same experience as my mom. They all asked the management if there were any nearby piggeries, and the staff told them that there wasn't. My second encounter was when I was in elementary school and I was playing with my 3 cousins on their PS2. We were playing WWE and the game continued until 11 p.m. My youngest cousin went to sleep by then, but me and my 2 older cousins kept playing. When it was about 1 a.m., my 2 elder cousins went to sleep on the carpet while I was still arranging the consoles when I heard grunting noises outside. I know how pigs sound since my grandpa has a piggery, too. But we were staying at my Tito's house, which was in a populated subdivision. I peeked through the window blinds of the living room and saw a pig-headed figure shambling away from our house. It walked very unnaturally, like its legs were broken or twisted backwards. I don't know how to explain it very well. Then it suddenly turned its head to the side, and its eyes were red. Not the glowing type, but like the color of the eyes of white rats. I immediately hid between my 2 cousins and wrapped their arms around me. I was crying by then, and they hugged me tighter. I don't know how I fell asleep that night.
The creature with its legs backwards, that alone just... Why is that such a creepy thing? Like all the horror movies, you put someone on, like just crank those limbs the wrong direction, throw them on all fours, walking.
Give him a creepy pig head? Like,
walking
no.
haughtily. I hate that imagery. So this can literally look like your worst nightmare, whatever it may be. It definitely, it has endless possibilities. It's a shapeshifter.
It's a shapeshifter, yes, which, as we know through history, is also a common, folklore to be around the world, these shape-shifting witches.
Why must all of these cryptids and folklore creatures be so hell-bent on eating children, eating babies? Why are they all stuck in wanting to eat the babies? It's the worst.
Well, originally, a lot of these folklores, it's to scare the kids, right? Like, don't do dangerous things. Don't go near bodies of water. Don't, wander too far from the house. Listen to your mother always. But this is for, like, pregnant women of,
like a proboscis tongue that jabs through your stomach and then sucks your little baby's life force. It's so sad.
Now, because this has been around a long time and a lot of it originated in the smaller Filipino villages, a lot of people think that it was just used as sort of a scapegoat for, having miscarriages or stillbirths or, committing murder. Oh, the Aswang made me do it, other.
Kind of like the changeling. Like there's a sick baby, but you blame it on the fairies or, Gosh, I hate it. I actually have a story of a Manananggal sighting. And so when you said that name, I did recognize that name. And this was recent. This was in February 14th, 2023. And it comes from ancientorigins.net. And it's titled Alleged Sighting of the Mythical Manananggal in the Philippines Causes Public Anxiety. Police in the Philippines are working to ease the fears of residents in a city where reports of a fearsome creature have been circulating. This strange incident began last Thursday evening in the community of Talisay, when 2 girls reported seeing a bizarre creature perched on a house. According to the witnesses, the creature had bat-like wings and was able to detach its body at the torso, which is a characteristic feature of the mythical creature known as the Manananggal in Philippine folklore. The girls were shaken by the encounter and reported the sighting to the police. The news of the sighting quickly spread, and soon the entire community was abuzz with talk of the Manananggal. Several days after the initial sighting, reports emerged of another creature seen in a nearby town. This creature was described as having a human body, but a head that resembled that of a pig.
Oh my God, it's the Aswang!
The reports have added to the fears and concerns of the community, and local authorities began to take the matter seriously, reports Coast to Coast. In an effort to calm residents, the authorities held a press conference to address the issue. They promised to investigate the reports and urged residents to report any unusual sightings or incidents to the police. They also advised residents to refrain from sharing rumors and hearsay about the Manananggal, as this could cause unnecessary panic and fear. Meanwhile, the two witnesses who reported the sighting of the Manananggal are said to be receiving counseling to help them deal with the trauma of the encounter. Local authorities have assured residents that they are taking the matter seriously and are doing everything they can to ensure the safety and well-being of the community. Despite this, rumors of the Manananggal continue to circulate, and many residents are still on edge, fearful of encountering the creature in the dead of night.
Ooh, February? That was just a couple of months ago.
I know. That was very
recent.
recent.
There. It is out there. Oh my gosh.
It sounds
Good
terrifying.
find.
I like it. I don't know if I like that the girls are in therapy. It's interesting that they included that detail. Like they were so terrified that they like
traumatized.
Yes. I don't know if I caught that it detached its torso from its body. Like that.
Yeah. Then just down the road, they saw the pig-headed creature too. This shape-shifting were-bat creature. Oh, man.
So that one, I'd be like, well, maybe it was someone of the prank, but it's very hard to prank removing your torso from the rest of your body. I feel like that is like a magic trick that would be hard to pull off. So like you, I was intrigued by the number of, I guess they're cryptids in Filipino folklore.
Yeah.
There was one that really caught my eye called the Tambal, Tambal. And according to primer.com.ph, the Tambal is the Filipino version of the Doppelganger. And it's a creature able to change their appearance to their human victims. They cause their victims to get lost for days and take their place in their home, mingling with family and acquaintances. There are stories of the Tambal killing their victims before taking their place. The Tambal later fakes its death, but the corpse, quote unquote corpse, it leaves would be a small tree trunk. So someone dies.
Wait. Their body just turns into a tree.
Trunk. That would fuck with me. That'd be like, wait, what? Because one, your loved one just turned into a tree trunk. Two, you'd be like, wait, so that wasn't them at all. That was a Tambal this whole time.
So
where is my real loved one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real mind fuck on top of it all. So I was intrigued by this, but I wanted to find a real life story of this doppelganger because I think I like a doppelganger.
It's fascinating.
They're all kind of shapeshifters with just a different grift. Is that what that's called? If you're a grifter, do you have a grift?
Oh, yes. I don't know.
They have a different, because they're all shapeshifters, but they have like a different angle, like a different strategy. They're like, this is going to be my thing. They find their thing, but they're all kind of the same.
At a campfire circle, and they're like, what are you going to do? Bat? What are you, pig?
Yeah.
My feet are backwards.
That'll really get them.
Tree trunk. I got tree trunk.
Hear me out. I turned into a tree trunk. So I found a Facebook post about someone's encounter with the Tambal.
Ooh.
And he says, I was alone at my house today, nothing out of the usual from the time that I woke up until after lunch. My everyday routine since graduation has been to log on social media, register for government IDs, and find freelance work online. As you imagine, I was busy on my laptop. My room's door has a narrow glass pane. The top half of it's frosted, effectively obscuring objects inside and outside of my room. The bottom half, however, remains bare. I've always hated that the pane has not been fully frosted. It leaves me with little privacy. It also allows me to see people walking outside at 3 a.m. when everyone is asleep. I've learned to not pay attention to whoever or whatever shuffles its feet from outside my room. I guess I've already been desensitized. At around 3 in the afternoon, I saw from my periphery someone/something walking outside my room. I ignored it, as I have many times before. I returned to creating proposals for potential clients. About 5 minutes passed and I saw feet again. Sometimes the people/things in this household can be annoying. I paused and glanced at the bottom half of the glass pane. I stared through it for a good 3 seconds before I went back to work. But just as I was about to finish the sentence, I saw walking feet again. I paid no attention. I did not want to. I had work to finish, and I was scared. This was beyond the usual. I tried my best not to care. My hands were shaking, were barely able to type words into the keyboard. Nonetheless, I tried to retain my composure, even as the person/thing outside my room was already pacing back and forth at the time. And then it stopped. It stopped right in front of my door. It was standing there. I had to look. When I glanced, I saw 2 legs. It looked like a person's. My whole body was trembling at this point. I can handle ghosts, but I would not be able to handle a human intruder. I mustered up courage to use my loud, thundering voice to say, "Sino yan?" Who's there? In parentheses. Then the door opened. He looked exactly like me. It was as if I was looking at a clone. He was tall and had a prominent jaw. He even had dark blue hair. Heck, he was wearing the same blue shirt and gray basketball shorts. They say when your doppelganger appears near you, you're in danger. It can mean sickness, an accident, or even death. What more if I met mine? "What do you want from me?" I said with a loud but shaking voice as tears streamed down my face. It slowly walked towards me until I was face to face with it. It smiled maniacally and leaned into my ear, and it whispered,
No.
"I'm a freelance writer. Hire me. My email is zavegregorio@gmail.com." It's such a disappointing ending. I found this. I was so into it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect the whole time. And I was like, fuck. Fucker.
Oh, bravo, Zave. Bravo.
I'm pretty sure it was
good.
real up until that part. I think he just made up an ending. Because he really got eaten, and it's actually the Tagalog now writing the story, or the doppelganger writing the story. And
It absolutely is.
When they went to interview him about this article, all they found was a log.
A trunk.
They interviewed
Not even a trunk, just a log.
That's right. I forgot what they turned into. They followed up. They tried to follow up. Just interview. Or they interviewed him, but later when they reviewed the footage, they realized they were just interviewing a tree trunk.
A log.
A log. In the chair. Okay.
Oh, it was good. You had me going. You had me going good, Alissa. All right, I'm going to sneak in a quick story before you tell your next one.
Okay.
I got this story from Cris Benjamin, and he says, "Hi, guys. I'm from the Philippines. One night, I had to take the bus to go to work. I work night shifts, and it takes a 3-hour bus ride from my home to my work office in the metro. Holy shit.
Dude, that's a commute. You should listen to SkeleTales on your way. Sorry. Plugging the guy who's...
Good plug. Sharing the story.
Sharing the story.
As I got onto a bus, I noticed there were only 5 people inside: the driver, his assistant, me, and 2 other passengers. The bus made a stop after 30 minutes to pick up more passengers. 3 passengers came on, 2 teenagers and 1 odd-looking lady. She wore a black dress and had a lot of jewelry on her, a golden necklace and earrings that were shiny as hell, too. When the bus started moving again, the driver's assistant came to check the passengers and give out tickets. We're still kind of old school here, so there's always another guy who comes to your seat and gets your pay for the fare and gives you a bus ticket as a receipt. Now, that particular guy, after giving me and the other passengers at the back their ticket, got scared all of a sudden and frantically asked the bus driver to stop. "Stop the bus!" When the driver asked, "Why the hell do you want to stop the bus?" his assistant yelled in a scared voice, "She's gone! The old lady in the black dress is gone! Where did she go?" The bus hadn't stopped to pick up passengers since the last pickup. So where did that old lady go? I knew something was wrong. We had had a ghost on the bus.
Ooh. Was there a
So-
log? Did anyone mention? Was there any mention of a log or a trunk, a tree trunk?
Yeah, right
in
where
the
she
seat.
was sitting is a stick. I'm not sure.
They
It's just
probably would have
getting
mentioned
smaller.
that. Okay. The stick, a twig.
I'm gonna plug Chris's YouTube really quick. He's got a channel called Creepy Shorts 27 where he shares other spooky stories as well. And so
he could listen. Oh wait, no, that wasn't his story. He just told the story.
that's Chris's story, but
Chris
he tells
is the
other.
one who commutes.
Yeah, Chris is the
Okay.
commuter, but he also shares other
Got it.
creepy? Nope,
Sure.
creepy short stories.
Creepy. See, that's
And
the kind
she's
of ghost I would
memorable
dig.
because she's like black dress, like blinging out big
Yeah,
time, like
yeah.
something that's gonna stick in your head of like, oh, she's odd.
I
an
like
interesting
that
one.
idea. If I have a choice, that would be one of my top ghost haunting choices. Just be real eccentric,
Oh,
unforgettable, and then just fucking
Peace
blip
out.
out. And then people are like, wait,
Watch
what?
everyone freak out.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Me
Ooh.
too.
Okay, so I have another story from the Philippines written by someone who lived in Manila at one point. And they say that when I was a child, I used to see ghosts in our old apartment in Manila. Mostly, they were just blurry figures of a person that is just passing by. But one night, while I was late night watching TV, I saw a man standing in our stairs. The man is wearing all black, and I can clearly see his face. I could even see that he is skin-headed. He doesn't look menacing. He is just looking. But I was so scared that I peed my pants. I told my mom about it, but she wouldn't believe me. My dad at that time is a delivery driver, so I barely even see him. And we moved to another town after a few years. Decades later, while we are reminiscing about our life in Manila, I told my family how I used to see ghosts in our old apartment. My dad was shook and told us he used to see ghosts too. He asked me why I did not say anything, and I said I told mom, but she wouldn't believe me. My dad said he used to see a black figure of a man on our stairs whenever he came home from work. My younger brother told us also that he used to see the same man around our house. That's when my dad told us the history of that apartment and who he thinks the ghost is. A few years before we moved to that apartment, there was a tenant who committed suicide by hanging himself on that stairs. He was a nursing student studying for his licensure exam, and he rented that apartment alone so he could focus. But due to the pressure from his father, who was a military man and beat him, he decided to end his life. Ironically, I'm now working as a nurse and my brother's in the military. We did not know this story until this year.
Ooh.
Do you think that the ghost was that telepathically trying to get them into nursing and the military?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe the energy was still there and that was like what was drawing them to those things or something. I don't know. That's good.
That reminds me of the story of my family where my great-grandfather would come home from work at the jail or the prison out in Buffalo and see the old lady in the house. and
Rushed by.
Rushed by and sitting at the table. I'm a night owl. I should be seeing these ghosts.
You really should. I'm quite disappointed at this point that you haven't seen one yet, Alissa.
Do I have to have the lights off? Maybe it's because the lights have to be off. I have to walk in the house at night. I'll just practice more of that and maybe I'll see someone chilling.
Okay, get
Okay.
back with us.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Walking
Okay.
around in the dark.
Yeah. Entering the house, trying to surprise it. Yeah. Okay. So another thing I stumbled upon though too is that in the Philippines, there is a book series called True Philippine Ghost Stories. And apparently it was like their version of maybe Goosebumps, although I never read Goosebumps, but the scary stories you tell in the dark.
You tell in the dark.
And it was like cult-like. And so there's a whole series of these books. So to give you an idea of one of the stories that are in these books is...
So are these true or these are just like tales
they're
told?
They're fictional, but like very much, I think they're very much that scary
urban
stories.
legends, right?
Yeah, they're urban legends. Like the scary stories to tell in the dark did have some root in folklore. A lot of those stories were like folklore that kind of he reconfigured for a more modern audience. So to give you an idea of the stories that are in this book, this one is from Vice. I found this on Vice, and it's talking about the series, and it tells the story of a couple spotted a restaurant by the road. They noticed there were plenty of cars in the parking lot and thought it might be a good place to stop and take a break from their long drive. Inside, however, they were surprised to see the dining hall close to empty. Where were all the people from the cars parked outside? Tired and hungry, the couple eagerly enjoyed a beef soup at the restaurant. It was so delicious that they asked their server what the secret was. She said it was all in the ingredients. The couple left and continued their drive to the woman's grandparents' house, where they were to meet her grandmother and aunts. When they finally arrived, the family wondered what took them so long. The couple said that they had stopped at a restaurant with really good food, only to find out from the grandmother and aunts that customers who stayed in the restaurant past dusk never left because they were cooked into the meals.
Who answers that? Oh, these cookies are delicious. What's in them? It's all in the ingredients. Right. That's what I'm asking you. What's the fucking ingredient?
I mean, everyone has secret ingredients. Now I'm going to assume anytime there's a secret ingredient, it is human.
Human.
It's human. Soylent Green is human. Did you ever catch that flick from 1962?
No.
So that story was from the True Philippine Ghost Stories. To me, it very much sounds like scary stories to tell in the dark. Like,
I love it.
Creepy stories. There's a whole series of them. But if we do have some friends in the Philippines who are listening, these books are making a comeback and they're looking for submissions. Interested storytellers can submit their entries, conform to the following guidelines. Stories submitted should follow the theme of the book, True Philippine Ghost Stories. Length of the story should be between 800 to 2,000 words. The story should be written in English, Tagalog, or Taglish, and should not have been previously published elsewhere, in part or in full. And the stories can be submitted by email at tpgs2023@gmail.com. And the deadline for submissions is June 30th, 2023. So
just in time.
Heard it here first, or maybe not. Maybe you read the article before me. But so I think it's fictional. It sounds like they're fictional tales, but they sound so fun. Like I
want to read this book now. Yes.
There's several. I don't know how many. I didn't research it super thoroughly, but there's several. I feel like I'm looking at a picture of at least 10
What's
in
the
a
name
series.
of what's the name of the series again?
It's True Philippine Ghost Stories. You know what? I think it's all. So maybe it isn't. It's true. Never mind. I take it back.
True.
It's nothing. True. So maybe they are looking for similar first-person stories of their personal experiences.
So that was human soup. It was actual human soup, Alissa.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So if you've got a story like that, throw it in. I'm looking at least like 12, I guess. 18, 21. This is a whole series. And so it sounds like it might be a compilation of like community sourced ghost stories that they published in the
Christmas
books.
present. I know what I'm getting you.
Yes. So yeah, those are our stories from the Philippines.
I dug this episode. This was really fun.
It's so interesting to hear the different stories from other cultures that I'm not super familiar with. I love it.
Absolutely. Me too. If you have a story that you would like to share, you can write it into our hot box
at SkeleTalesPodcast@gmail.com. You can also call our hotline.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. Leave a message over there, even if it is just to say, hey, y'all, what's up?
You can, you can also say, hey, y'all, what's up? Over on our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can come check out our community on SkeleTales Community on Facebook. That was not very smooth, but you got the gist. We also have a merch shop.
SkeleTales Podcast and on Etsy. .etsy.
Yeah, we're killing it. You got it.
But there is some really cool shit over there.
There
You
really
should go
is.
check it out.
There really is.
And we already sort of plugged our YouTube, which is fresh and spiffy and getting new stories and posts every day. I posted a video of the Kansas City Hotel EVP that happened over a year ago now, but I hadn't posted that video. Well, it's up now. You can go over there and watch it.
That genuinely creeps me the fuck out. If you've not heard that audio, you absolutely need to, because it is scary. And I know Britt isn't full of shit, like, at all. Like, she just recorded the scariest thing I've heard probably on this whole podcast. Like, share, review. We would love some reviews. And yeah, is that all, Britt?
No, there was one very important thing that everyone needs to know.
Okay.
Haunt y'all later.
Haunt you later.
Good night.
Good night.